How's everyone doing today? This is my first video, and it's definitely strange talking to a camera, but I'm so grateful that you're here and taking the time to listen to me. Um, this video is going to be about surrendering and certain tools that I have used to assist me through some recent transitions that I've had, some pretty major transitions. Um, Talking about the transition just real quick is due to some guidance that I received. Um, I was told to pretty much pack everything up from my old life, my job, leaving my apartment, pretty much a complete overhaul of that reality at the time. And so I was guided to move to another state. Um, and I made the journey out there. And when I made the journey out there, I didn't have a whole lot of um, money at the time, very little finances. And I was reassured that there was abundance out here when I arrived. So I jumped in my car, loaded up, and drove on out. Um, the first night I stayed at a hotel. The next morning I asked for some guidance, and um, the guidance I received, I went out and took action on, and nothing came of it. So I was in a position where I didn't have any finances for another night at the hotel, and I was told to sleep in my car at the Kmart parking lot, and that that wasn't easy because when you leave a life behind that for most of humanity would be normal, it was a comfortable job. I had my family nearby, um, and you leave due to guidance that you receive, and then when you arrive at your destination and you're told to sleep in your car in a parking lot, it's a very humbling experience, to say the least. But um, I knew in my heart that everything would turn out, so I slept in my car for the night. Then the next morning, I asked for more guidance, and again, took action, and nothing, nothing came of it. So then I spent the next 4 nights sleeping at Walmart parking lot, and it was it was a very interesting experience because I would have a lot of anger come up. There was some victimhood mentality that came forth. Why is this happening? What did I do to deserve this? A lot of that was coming up. But something really cool came out of it, and that's why I'm very grateful for the experiences. Once I moved through those emotions, and once I moved through that victimhood mentality, I felt such peace because one of the things that this experience was showing me was how money was controlling my happiness, and how unless I had certain things in my life or a certain amount of money, um, I wasn't I wasn't truly happy in the sense that if it was taken away from me like it was, could I still love my life and love everything in it? So the first couple of days were very interesting to say the least. Wasn't very happy about the circumstances, but I kept telling myself that it would pass and it would get better. So it was my car for about 5 days total, and an item that I listed on eBay before I moved sold. So I received the money from that item, and I could stay at a hotel for a night. That was a very powerful experience because when we do surrender, when we get these rewards, or I don't even like to use the word reward, but when we get these opportunities where we can really reflect on, what we're receiving. And it is truly powerful because before this experience, I would have just been walking in a hotel room. It wouldn't have been anything different. I wouldn't have been amazed to look at the bed, taking a shower, all these luxuries that I had previous. Everything was really opened for me when it comes to that experience where I walked in the room and I felt like a king. I felt like I had everything. And it was very, very humbling. Very humbling experience, to say the least. So, what's this video about? What am I rambling on? It's about surrendering, and there are certain times in our life where our soul's journey, our life path takes rapid change, and that change sometimes is not always comfortable. Sometimes your entire life dissolves, and what's so powerful about it is that when you do surrender, and when I did surrender, when I came out here and I was experiencing those things, I knew that things would change, that things would get better, and I just had to move through this. And what I feel as to why it can be so uncomfortable is because when we're changing our lives to that degree, we're looking at everything from the past and analyzing it or releasing it, in a sense, energetically. I went from having a good paying job, having loving family around, and having a great apartment, a roof over my head, a comfortable bed, to sleeping in a car. And I feel that it was me releasing those attachments, releasing the need for something to make me happy. I was so used to that lifestyle, so used to that life, that I had such strong attachments to it. And sometimes when we move through these attachments energetically, it can happen in various ways. And in this experience, it happened very quickly. And it happened very powerfully in the sense that it was quite the shocker, to say the least. So, just wrote down some notes. One of the biggest things I learned from this experience is when we surrender, is to get out of the victimhood mentality, in the sense that I got to a point in this transition where I was asking myself, why did I create this? Why did I create this experience? What am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to really gather from this? And things shifted a lot quicker when I was trying to figure out why I created this, instead of, I had my moments without a doubt where I thought I was being punished. I there was a lot of anger in certain parts, but when that anger passed and I asked myself, why did I create this? What am I supposed to learn from this experience? Then stuff shifted very quickly. And when the stuff shifted, something beautiful came in. And that something beautiful I can only describe as God, in the sense that the bliss and the peace I felt like I was releasing, and a higher energy was coming in, filling that void. And the more I did this, the more I was filled up, to the point where on the last day that I was in my car, I wasn't angry about it. I wasn't upset. I wasn't blaming anybody. I just said, God, I would really love a bed. And it happened. Because I wasn't a victim. If I stayed in that mentality, I have no idea how long I would have stayed in my car. Truthfully, I don't know. But that is one of the biggest things that I will say when it comes to surrendering and moving through these major transitions is humanity has a tendency to blame others externally for their hang-ups, um, for their issues and their situations. What did I do to deserve this? Why did you do this to me? And I think one of the most powerful things anyone can ever do is to truly take responsibility for everything in their reality. Everything. It doesn't matter what anyone or anything does to you. One of the first things I always ask is, why did I create this? What is there to be learned? And then you can move forward and move through the pattern, or move through a certain belief that you have about yourself, and carry on. So, sorry, it's cold in here. That's one of the biggest things I would say with surrendering, is surrendering to your soul's mission, or your life's journey, your life path. And when the tough stuff comes up, when these energetic patterns, or these different energetic facets of our life come up to be reviewed, or come up to be looked at, go into it. At least my advice would be to go into it as, I take full responsibility for this, and I'm ready to shift, and I'm ready to change it. And that kind of self-power, for me, really was eye-opening during this experience. So that's a big one for me when it comes to surrendering, is going with the flow, trusting your heart, and Another great saying I said to myself quite a bit is, "This too shall pass." This isn't permanent. Um, I'm not out here. My soul's mission isn't to cause me pain, isn't to you know to suffer long term. It's to look at these parts of ourselves, recognize them, and work through them. And that there's a lot of parts of myself that came up in that experience that I had buried. And when I surrendered completely, is when things started changing and looking up. And that was a very beautiful experience, and I'm very grateful for that. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk to on surrender today. I may make another video about it. But the one thing I did want to real quick talk about is what helped me through, what tools did I use to move this energy, to shift me through this transition. And one of the, I'd say one of the easiest things for me is to use crystals, use these wonderful beings that wish to help, and ask them to help. Ask them to assist in removing energies, clearing energies. There's so many things that they do, and it's beautiful. What has assisted me through this transition was black obsidian. These two were with me the entire time in the car, and I feel with a lot of big transitions or a lot of energy clearing and movement, I've always really liked black stones. There are many beautiful crystals that can do wonderful work as well. It's just, for me personally, I've noticed that black tourmaline, black kyanite, black obsidian, those three really help me quite a bit with shifting these energies very quickly. So use your crystals. There's all sorts of grids you can make, to assist you through certain blocks and certain things in your life. And what I would do with these black obsidian, I would just hold them in my hand. I just hold them like this, and I would just, let the magic happen. If you have certain body parts, you can place them on that too. I did place them on my stomach a little bit because I had a lot of fear and anxiety, anger come up, and that seemed to be kind of right in my stomach area. And they did wonders for me, and I'm very grateful that they were with me at that time. Another one, and I'll actually link a video below here. A wonderful friend of mine, Katie Indicrow, has a video up about Andaras and how to really start to connect. So that's something that I've been working with as well, as these beautiful beings, Andaras, really, really do wonderful work and want to help. This one wants to be seen. Beautiful pink. So we have these tools. You can also sage. Black sage is very powerful. White sage is very powerful, and they can really help you, transmute and or transfigure some of these energies and get them shifting quicker. But Another one that, because I was writing down ideas for this video, another one that came up that I feel is very powerful is also certain types of exercise. And like I haven't in quite some time, but lifting weights was a huge passion of mine for a long time. And I'm very excited to start that again. And I feel certain groups of exercise really assist in bringing stuff up and moving them through quicker. Weightlifting always helped me just because I feel the weightlifting for me personally was one of the strongest ways of bringing stuff up, because when you're tearing the tissues, when you're weightlifting or doing any sort of resistance training, you're tearing the muscle fibers, you're tearing the tissues, and I feel that tearing helped me release a lot, because emotions, thought forms, these things can get buried in our systems, in our vessel. And weightlifting really assisted me in, breaking that apart and really releasing them so they can be cleared. And yoga is another great one. Tai Chi, Qigong are all great. Pranayama is another one. That's more of a breathing exercise than physical, but I feel that definitely can be used as well. So let's see if I have anything written down about surrendering. And I may make another video going into more of these tools in a more detailed way. I just wanted to make this video about kind of what I've just recently experienced. And I think one of the biggest reasons I'm making this video is to reach the people that are going through tough situations, that their life seems like it's been completely flipped around and they're lost, and they either feel abandoned or they feel like they're being punished, like what I did for those first couple days. Is to know that you stay in your heart and you just keep chugging along, and everything will work out. And surrender is very powerful, and surrendering is also something else I want to talk about that just came up. Is surrendering is also very, very hard for many, in the sense that the human mind, the ego, doesn't like to surrender. The mind wants control. And when you are surrendering, or even when I was just about to leave on this trip, it would pop up and say, you're making a mistake, you're leaving all of this behind for what? You don't know what's over there. So the mind will come in and try and play tricks and persuade you out of certain situations. And that's something to keep in mind. So when you're moving through these transitions, or there's a major life choice that you're in the process of making, and that little voice in your back of the head starts jibber jabbing or tries to persuade you not to do it. I think that was also part of the surrender, is surrendering to Prime Creator, surrendering to Source, and knowing that Source loves me and Source loves everything, and Source doesn't want me to suffer and live in pain my whole life. We're all worthy of love. We're all worthy of abundance. We're all worthy of security. We're all worthy of all these attributes. And at the end of the day, Prime Creator provides all of that. So I think that's the biggest thing with surrender is trusting Prime Creator, and also talking with your oversoul as often as you need. Automatic writing was something that I used on a daily basis going through this transition. I'd get into a relaxed state, and I'd ask my oversoul to come in and to write through me. And I would ask questions, and answers would come in, and they'd be written down on paper. So you're worth it. I love you, and these times will pass. But another very big lesson that I learned was how grateful I was for those times. To be put in that situation and to learn from it, to grow from it, to expand at a very, very deep level, And sometimes when we are caught up in these dark times, quote unquote, is we lose sight of that. We lose sight of, why is this happening? What am I supposed to learn here? What am I releasing? Instead of going straight into victimhood and blaming someone else outside of themselves, which I have done many times. And in this transition, it happened, first couple days, it was quite a bit. But the second that I stopped and I got out of that mentality, I said, why am I creating this? What is there for me to learn in this experience? That's when the magic happened. That's when stuff shifted. That's when peace really came in. I felt a lot of bliss. I was so grateful for everything I had. And I moved through it. So that's pretty much all I had today. Is I may make another video talking more about surrender and kind of more in depth about it, but I just wanted to make this real quick. And it's freezing in here, so I have to stop sniffling anyways. I just want to say that I love y'all, and whatever journey you're in right now, whatever you're moving through, stay in your heart and keep your head high. Have a great day.